Welcome everybody to the Americas portion of week number 10 of the Quake Pro League. My name is Ketchup and I'm joined by 40 Lions. We just had EU and CIS finish up as now we are ready.
Time for the Americas. Let's get into it.
This
I'm
is
excited.
your bit. I'll just leave this to you.
Don't
mic off.
You're not leaving. Actually, I'm going to force you to watch all of this here.
Okay.
But I'm excited. We're going to get into the Americas. My boys. We're going to see how well they fare. Again, I guess the storyline for the evening is going to be a bit of can dahang keep his place and take all of the maps. We'll see. There's a lot at stake there, but I don't think he's really worried about it as much as we're worrying about it.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I mean, it is a huge deal. Razy doing a great job of sweeping 3-0, and now it puts him in a position where if dahang falters a little bit, it makes all the difference in the world. You're going to want that buy into Sunday at Luca. It's going to be huge. But first, we're going to start off with Sib versus br1ck.
Yeah, it interests me a great deal because I've actually been told we have the leaderboard, so we can go and check it out. But fundamentally, it was going to be a bit of a, I suppose, uneventful evening in the Americas because a lot of this kind of stuff was already set in stone when it comes to relegation matches and stuff like that. However, because Razy was able to get that 3-0 versus base earlier today, it's put dahang in a weird position where if he gets 3-0'd by Rafa, he will gain no points, and the 8 points that Razy got will be just enough to put Razy into top 4 instead of dahang, making dahang have to play the Saturday matches because he will no longer be top 4. But some of the other matches we have left to go, I think just storyline tellers, just showing us the final shape some of our players might be in. And as you can see in the world rankings, this is the kind of situation that we're looking at, right? Sib and br1ck, they are bottom 2, and this is going to be a week where they kind of just need to play for practice, if anything. We are going to be seeing br1ck and Dewey, so they're going to have to prepare for those matchups as we go into Luca. But in the mid-level matches, it's more just getting some of that last-minute information, and then the final matchup, all about dahang. Can he get a map and deny Razy's place in top 4?
Absolutely. Very, very stacked game for the Americas here. 4 sets of fantastic matches. Again, I don't like the way you smirk at me when I say that, but I'm very much looking forward to it.
I'm alright. I'm genuinely not fussed, mate.
Look, the problem is Sib and br1ck, chopping block. Garpy, Sparty, chopping block. Okay? Something's going to go down. Something's going to go down. As Sib and br1ck are going to be the first series, effortless drama, Saigib, Nosfa, and then again, the title fight for the evening, Rafa and dahang. That's going to be the big one. Can dahang at least put a map on the board to solidify his place in the top 4? Rafa undefeated. I don't know if that's too surprising. But,
no, I can't really say that I'm shocked by the result, even though dahang has defeated Rafa in Champions before. I think it's just a new level of Rafa that isn't necessarily recent, but I think he's definitely he is within top 3 world right now, and his results have proven otherwise. No other way except for that he is where he is. But I want to mention actually Sib versus br1ck. The first thing we kind of need to get out of the way is the fact that br1ck is currently on his way to Italy. He might actually be there already now. So that does mean that Sib and br1ck, due to I think some players traveling out to Italy, some of them are trying to boot camp and get that jet lag out of the way. This match was pre-recorded. We don't know how it happened, we don't know what the results were, and obviously they've not posted about it on social media and all that stuff, but their match was played, and the match was recorded fully and is now being played back here. I mean, I think sometimes that's just kind of the nature of things. The American players, if they have the option to boot camp for Italy, it kind of makes sense that they do, because jet lag can be severe, especially with how long those days are going to be. If there's a chance for players to just get a solution before they go, then, I mean, I'm all for it, personally.
Yeah, absolutely. So that doesn't take away from Sib versus br1ck. Sib on the chopping block. Again, he kind of came out of nowhere with Champions, but he's put up a decent fight. But we're going to see if he can take over br1ck and then hopefully keep his spot in the Pro League again at Luca. Chopping block is going to be huge as the 2 up-and-comers from Challengers want to get in this Pro League. Sib and br1ck going to have to do their best to make sure that doesn't happen.
It's going to be a matchup just to try and feel good before you go out to Italy. We're saying that all the time because it really does matter. However, this match went between the 2 players. I think it's just a matter of saying, right, well, how realistically do I feel about how my performance goes as relegation matches appear? Because, Sib and br1ck, they are the players that we're looking at now that will have to fight for their spot to remain in Pro League. And, I mean, any experience they can get before that, the better. We talked about Sib, now it's time to talk about some br1ck. br1ck has had, unfortunately, he has had a pretty rocky road here. You know, he has had pretty much the most defeats of any player. QuakeCon was a bit of a rough start for him, and it continued in QPL. He has gotten better as we've progressed, though. Was able to take some wins. I actually believe he had defeated Sib in the past. So it's actually, if there's anything that's going to be even between these players, this probably is I think the closest we'll get for br1ck having a close opponent. And I mean, I'm curious to see if he's able to get a win out here.
I got faith. I think he might clap some cheeks out here. The gatekeeper gonna lay it down as we get into this series here. Yeah, I mean, I'm terrified for all of my boys, but especially the ones on the chopping block. It's going to be huge. Again, we mentioned br1ck and Dewey are the ones that qualified.
I think that's
going to
be. I think that's going to be bittersweet for you though, because it's going to really suck to see some of your boys go out. But at the same time, you know, it is the rise of br1ck, the young blood in America. It is, you know, Dewey coming out of retirement.
He's actually representing Canada. I'm sure he would hate me if I didn't mention that. But yes, the Americas. But he is Canadian. He wanted me to make a point of that. But Dewey, I mean, he's no stranger to the big show, right? He's been here before, so I think for him, it's pretty much, okay, who do I have to eliminate? For br1ck, it's going to be a little bit different. I don't know the extent of his LAN experience. I don't know if he's ready for the pressure of LANs. Again, we mentioned kind of earlier that playing on LAN, completely different ballgame. We've seen amazing players, young players, crumble on the under pressure on LAN.
We'd seen that from Wenger in the past, you know. And then
I didn't want to name names, but
well, look at him now. That's the way I talk about it. You know, sometimes it's worth talking about a player's shortcoming back in the day because it's a representation of how far they've climbed. We have to pick some bands ready to go so we can see what the results will be for that and what we can grow to expect. Molten Falls starting off with Nyx and Anarchy, Clutch being removed from play, Veil of Nath, the Sorlag, and Ula, the Scale Bearer, my favourite, and then Awoken to finish. Keel, here
there's
we
my
go.
boy.
That's your champion right there.
Yeah, that's it. That's 3-0 br1ck easy because of that Keel pick. Done and dusted. Now, I'm excited to see Keel play on Awoken. It might be a little bit shaky against that Ranger, but we'll see. Molten Falls, again, we see the Anarchy from Sib. We've seen that a little bit today. Nyx from br1ck, and then, as you mentioned, Sorlag Scale on Veil. That's going to be quite the tale.
For sure, and I mean, Molten Falls, it's always nice to see two sort of agile champions. I know you wouldn't really put Nyx into the same pool as like a Slash or an Anarchy or even an Athena. She's a light champion, but she kind of offers a different level of strategy to that. She's not kind of just lightning fast around the map and then, you know, getting in and out. It's more picking some weird spots thanks to double jump and you know, picking a moment to go in, spring a trap, and you've either got the safety net of Ghost Walk or you can set something up with Ghost Walk. It's always an interesting dynamic for me to see what Nyx brings to the table. But fundamentally, predictions. How really do we think this is going to go? Who do we think has the edge here?
I feel like I'll go 2-1 with br1ck. 2-1 with br1ck. Keel's going to be the deciding factor. Lock it in.
Are you doing that?
Lock it in.
Are you putting the 2-1 in purely because there is a Keel selected?
100%.
And you just have to be biased
100%.
for your favourite champion.
Yeah.
But
at least I'm honest about it.
I was that for Doomslayer before everyone started playing Doomslayer, when Doomslayer became really
You played Doomslayer before he was cool.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, shouts to Spuddy, though. He's been playing Doomslayer forever. So.
As long as he was
one of the OGs.
A wee mini Spud.
True.
Since he was a mini Spud. Shouts to the Spud Hunter. We miss you, buddy. But we're going into map number 1. Remember, pre-recorded match. These two players had played this before they went to Italy. For boot camping reasons, I imagine. Fix that jet lag! And now, we'll see how the action went down.
Let's see, br1ck is going to start off and grab that. I actually like that play. A little bit of a delay. Grabs the LG and doubles back for the heavy. He's trying to get to a rocket. Sib will drop down so he won't be able to defend it. Rail in hand for br1ck. So here's the hoverboard. Looks for an opening shot. Nails it. As he gets that good opening damage off. Sib trying to fire some rockets, not finding any return damage, and might get cut off here at the rail. Needs to be careful. It looks like he's posted up outside. Eats a rocket right into the face, and that's going to turn him around. As he eats another one, br1ck absolutely fantastic with the railgun right now.
Absolute pure, clean execution. br1ck hitting the 100 damage rocket, realizing, wait, hang on a minute, I'm against Anarchy. That's pretty significant. Turns around immediately and finishes the job with 2 key rails. Sib immediately on the back foot, and the fact that it didn't really cost br1ck any resources, didn't cost him any of his stack to obtain that, which he's going to feel good about now. We're about to have the heavy spawn. Sib being a little bit too full speed ahead around that teleporter to put himself at risk, and now he's answering back br1ck's rails. Oh my word, his rails have just been off the chain so far, but is it going to be enough?
I love the aggression there, too. He's like, I'm going to wait, and I'm going to see if you're going to give me one more angle with this rail as he's hitting everything. There's the jump pad play into LG, into rail. What a combination from br1ck. Second frag on the board, looking very strong. Hasn't used Ghost Walk yet.
I really do feel like that the level of br1ck's play, it did climb quite significantly from the start of QPL to now. It's, you know, even though he's in this relegation period, it's unfortunate to see him there, but I'm really glad with how far he grew as a player. I really think that however Luca goes for him, he's going to be going into whatever happens next in a better shape than ever. Oh, jumping over the rail. Just anarchy things.
That was insane. Now needs to be really careful. Even peeking out could have cost him. Luckily for now, he's going to be able to stack back up. Sib looking very strong now. br1ck trying to get all the resources he can. Might get caught out. There's a good rail from around the corner from Sib. 26 HP. This is going to send br1ck fleeing for his life here. As he drops down to the double bubbles. Still not out of the woods yet. Still railable. And no rockets either. That's going to be terrible as Sib comes around the corner, takes his time, switches to rocket, deletes br1ck, and that'll be 2-1.
And he's going to be rewarded with a heavy pop on the injection just to become nice and chunky stacked. Mega has been taken though. br1ck with no armor. Very unfavorable position to be in. Sib's not quite able to get the read on where he's going to disappear with Ghost Walk though, so somewhat of a breathing space there for br1ck. On the verge of dying actually. It's a good thing he was able to get kind of, I guess, an element to that 50-50, right? Forward or back. Got to make that commitment.
Inject back up for Sib. He grabs the heavy and pops inject immediately. That's kind of like stacking heavy with an immediate mega. I like the play as he's hunting out now for br1ck. Trying to find any sign of him. There's a rocket. There's another rocket. Finding too many signs of him here as he gets forced through the telly. What a flick though. Rocket to rail combo.
Wonderful rail to hit. Such a hard angle too. Gets the flick. br1ck's looking for the entry damage. Goes in for some LG. Waits for the jump down. Pretty good damage, looking for a rail as well. br1ck trying to keep him at arm's reach. The plasma forces the retreat, and here comes that mega health. Sib looking to collect, which he does. And now we have to wonder who's going to have the edge here. I think the fact that Ghost Walk's down for br1ck and the fact that Sib has actually got access to the injection if he wants to use it. Let's see if that's going to matter. Yeah, the injection was just used to try and instantly get him out of harm's way right there. Let's loop around, see if the heavy's going to become an option.
Peeking your head around the corner into those nails or plasma is absolutely terrifying, but he does so without taking too much damage. Still tied at 4 minutes in. He grabs another heavy. And br1ck hasn't contested that for the last couple cycles there, as he's just completely okay with grabbing mega instead. And playing a bit of a distance game, slowing things down. So again, both players on 2. Ghost Walk finally back up for br1ck. Sib with the inject. And it's just a matter of setting a proper trap now for either player.
Injection pops once more, trying to get in and out ready for the heavy to spawn. Sib's in a pretty decent location for it. The thing is, br1ck has that Ghost Walk and those 2 rails forcing him away. And now it's going to be a plan B. Let's just try and get that mega back. Okay, the trade. Wonderful rocket. Sib trying to use the downtime to his advantage. Even the odds, br1ck sticking around. A little bit risky to do so, but Sib's quite weak himself. br1ck's able to double around and steal away those health bubbles, but I'm not sure if that's going to be enough to survive. He's very weak. The suicide. I mean, br1ck, if he's close range, just go for a close range rocket, right? Worst case scenario is you die by yourself, but best case, maybe you would have traded it. I don't disagree with that.
5-minute warning.
Hoping for a mutual, but unfortunately for him, won't get it. And instead, Sib will be able to grab this mega and has inject as well. Pretty strong. br1ck on the rockets right now, making his way over. Could catch him out. Decides to go to rail instead. So 5 minutes in, a rather close game here on Molten. Good rail for the telly there. As br1ck not ready for it. Needs to be careful. Heavy's going to be up in 2. This is going to be a big fight here if br1ck wants to commit. Raining down rockets, hits a little bit of damage. Inject will get Sib out of harm's way, and the rails will not connect for either player here.
Nice little boost of speed, and the damage coming through the rocket, just giving Anarchy that momentum he was looking for. Still, though, only 2-1. Sib's got to be careful with that rail, though. The downtime in between rails, you're still vulnerable in between shots. But br1ck, instead, is going to thread that needle. He's pretty far behind, even after these health bubbles. Only just not railable at this health.
A little bit of LG there. Sib grabs the 50. And 2 for good measure there, as he has to give up the heavy. Rocket's not going his way. The Mega is going to be up shortly. And Brick with the aggressive Ghost Walk play. There's a good rail up the jump pad, leaving him at 74 HP after the 25 pickup. Sib in harm's way is going to grab a 50. Brick doing a good job of chipping away, but unfortunately for him, minimal resources available for Sib, but just enough to get him back in contention for the next round of items.
Sib's being nice and patient. Let's not forget he has got the frag lead. It may only be 1, but it's enough to try and establish something. There's plenty of this map left to go too, so there's a lot of time for Brick to come back. Now Sib is really sort of favouring Mega location. I think the ability to pop injection and then use that Anarchy movement to get in and out, you know, really add as much risk taking the Mega as you would be with other champions, but he's chasing it down. Here comes some damage as Brick going to dedicate all the way. No opts to stay safe. Jumps down instead. But I feel like there's going to reach a point where Brick's going to have to start dedicating a little bit more to these fights. I think he's kind of like half entering them. You know, he's getting a little bit of damage and he's not really interested in taking it all the way. Brick, caught in a bad spot and hanging around way too long for the heavy. I wonder if perhaps maybe there was some mistiming. Maybe Sib has spent so much time near Mega that he was just convinced that Sib would be there instead.
Yeah, Brick lingering and Sib punishing appropriately, but as time ticks away, Brick doesn't have the luxury to take the best fights. Now he just has to start taking fights, and unfortunately he's going to take rockets and LG to the face. Sib adding another frag above the heavy before it spawns, and now Brick is down in a whole 3 frags in 2 minutes 20 seconds. That's going to be tough.
Cycle in and maintain this rotation. However, there's definitely not enough of a gap between Mega and Heavy that there's going to be someone that can maintain both of them, at least right now. Looking for the shot, misses the rail, but at this point doesn't really matter. 2 minutes on the clock and he's going to get a rail at the same time. Brick constantly taking this damage bit by bit. And I fear that this is quite characteristic of Brick, that Brick has really amazing starts, but he just runs out of steam quite quick. He's not quite able to maintain that crazy level of play throughout the course of an entire map, and I think it kind of hurts him down the line. Sib now just going in and out looking for those rails, but once more, any time he gets here is wasted time, and that's going to help him out. He is 3 frags in the lead now. Brick looking to fall once more, of which Sib manages to take another frag, making that 4 frags ahead, and we might be a dangerous position again.
Ooh, there's
Brick
a good rail.
gets it. Yeah, he's very weak though.
Yeah, with 1:20 left, it's going to be extremely difficult. 3 frags, no stack. Heavy is going to come up, but Sib's more than happy to just stay away and say, 1:10, come find me.
We've seen the use of Molten Falls, certain positions on this map. We can kind of just stick your ear to the ground and get a lot of information that you need over where someone's going to be. Brick trying to get the Mega. One of the last Megas he's likely to receive over the course of this map. Uses a Ghost Walk, maybe for some entry damage, just try and take Sib by surprise, but just can't find the mark. Hits 1 rail, needs plenty more where that came from, but it is going to be a start. Nonetheless, he's going to chase it down, head towards the Heavy. Is Heavy going to be where a fight takes place, though? Is that too predictable? Sib hits a defensive rail near Teleporter. It's going to be very tricky for Brick to hit that angle and not put himself in harm's way. 30 seconds on the clock. Sib's doing a wonderful job of just wasting time. This should, by all means, be his map now.
Drops down, and he's going to steal the Mega and the frag, and I think that just about sealed it. Brick with decent damage with the 225s and the inject, and the 50 shard are going to completely negate that. And, rocket frag again now by the LG. 5 frags, all done. 7-2, maybe even another one here as Brick pops the Ghost Walk last second. There's the rocket jump and celebration here as Sib will take map number 1 on Molten Falls. And, I mean, nothing overly fancy with that one, but a solid victory from Sib.
It was, by all accounts, a pretty standard map, that one. And it's kind of unfortunate for Brick. It's quite
65 rail for Brick.
Yeah, I feel like it's a pretty rare occurrence where Brick is able to sort of maintain his steam throughout the course of an entire map. That seems to be one of his fallbacks, I think, is he'll start a map and just do this crazy stuff, and in between that map there'll be these moments of absolute greatness, but maintaining that level over the course of 10 minutes seems to be something he kind of struggles with, and it was pretty similar, that he had a great start and did the right thing every time, and then one fight goes skew-if, and I suppose maybe it's when he's playing from a fresh spawn. You know, this idea of playing from a fresh spawn when someone's mega stacked up against you and they've got a bunch of control. Now, Brick would get a frag here and there, but stealing that control back, I just don't really remember how often I see him be able to do that. And
Yeah.
it seems to be, you know, just, I guess the grind continues, right?
Yep, I mean, as some of the greats say, playing out of control is the hardest part of the game. Everything is going your way when you have all the items in the stack, but the minute you don't, that's where it really tests your mettle. And I guess you're right, br1ck having a little bit of a problem there as he's getting out of control. And that was brutal. That was unfortunate. But yeah, the standard play, I think, from both players. Sib just did it better. Look at the rocket to the face into LG. I like the plays a lot. And I don't know, map number 2. What do you think? Based off what we just saw, do you see it going the same way? Sib kind of playing a rather standard game and then just taking br1ck toe-to-toe on fights?
I mean, it's going to be Veil, so it's going to be different anyway, like purely just by default because of how different the maps are.
And we got Scale and Sorlag, I think.
Yeah, I remember seeing
Big fan.
the Scale Bearer pick. Scale Bearer can work quite well on Veil, especially if there are champions in play that don't have obstacles you can put down that block the bull rush. At least, you know, Sorlag is going to have the acid, but that's not going to be something that will stop the bull rush, right? It will just cause damage, but while he's rushing, who cares? Damage reduction. So, you know, maybe the champions will make a difference here. I think Veil of Nath it is a very, very sort of like momentum-heavy trap-based map, and I don't know. I feel like it sort of maintains one of the harder matches to call because I kind of find the two players quite evenly matched in Sib and br1ck. And whether it's going to be a 2-0 or a 1-1, well, we're finding out as now we're loading into map number 2. But Sib going in with a Sorlag pick, and it's br1ck with that Scale Bearer.
br1ck does get the heavy. Finally gets a rocket launcher pretty early. There's a bull rush into her. A little bit of a rocket juggle. Needs to be careful. The dot coming out. Good cancel on that as he grabs the 25 towards the rail. And the spawn on this map can mean a lot off the bat. And Sib with a great LG down by the rail takes them out immediately. And yeah, if you get that rocket LG spawn, you might be at a huge advantage depending on what your opponent does. And I feel like that played into it a little bit there. Great rocket from br1ck as he's trying to fight for this heavy from down below. And I think Sib is just like, I know you're down there, I'm good. Don't mind me, you're going to swing on by to the Mega.
Yeah, he's more than happy to trade this one off. You know, the Mega and the Heavy's going to go back and forth there. br1ck, with that Scale Bearer fully armored, has an opportunity to take a fight if he wants. Nice little rail to entry damage here. The missed acid spit in return with the rail. Good news for br1ck. Just needs to maintain. Bull Rush is going to finish the job. And there's plenty of small pickups around for him to stop the bleeding a little bit too. So the 1-1's going to be good, but how does br1ck maintain? He's establishing presence near the Mega. Doesn't want to get bullied off too much. Looking for a rocket shot just to cover his tracks on the Heavy. It is going to be successful. Can he reach it? Has some LG, but it's not enough to push him away. He has to accept the trade-off for another time. And these hourglasses to give us the bull rush back. Very, very important for Scale Bearer. That bull rush is one of his most dangerous tools.
A really good rail from Sib there, taking that angle. There's br1ck waiting by the nail gun. Good return rail, but again, Sib hitting another one, keeping that stack low for br1ck. Old Scaly trying to make his way onto the... Oh my god, wow. Good read from Sib there. Spit, rocket, all the damage, absolutely melts him 2-1. He's going to grab the Heavy and may even be able to get in on this Mega here. There's the rocket jump up. Peekaboo says br1ck as he bull rushes his way down. Hits a great rocket and a follow-up to net him the frag. Wow. Sib has got to be reeling from that, saying, what just happened to me?
And Sib hit a bunch of really good shots in his own right. It's just that br1ck played that fight perfectly. Good use of damage. Gets the final rocket, but now it's going to be 2-2. A common problem br1ck seems to be having is he's putting in a lot of chips to try and get the frag, and when he finally does, he's very weak indeed. Automatically makes him play from behind. Wonderful shot on the rail, expecting him to get the Heavy, and he should have the timing on it at the very least, even if he didn't manage to get it himself. Now we're back into this really weird game of information. br1ck, good rail once more, sending a message to Sib. I know where you are.
Bull rush back up as Sib already used his spit defensively now, and br1ck laying in wait. Ooh, good rocket, 92 damage. He's going to bull rush around the corner. Instead, he's just going to rail up the jump pad, but he jumps and misses the armor, and here's the bull rush claw. Oh my god, he doesn't even make it onto the churro, and this is very, very awkward now for br1ck. 50 HP is going to opt to get at least one bubble, still railable. Going to make his way over to the Mega. The rail through the Great will miss. Wow. The rocket return is fantastic from br1ck. 100 damage wins him the Mega, but very fortunate there. That could have gone completely wrong for br1ck.
A long time until Heavy's going to spawn, so this light armor's going to have to do.
Ooh, barely missing out on that rail.
Puts a foot in the acid though, so he's going to give his position away while the dot ticks over. But he's able to get a rail. br1ck has been hitting some wonderful rails in Sib, but he's not quite able to get much from those rails. You know, just keeping Sib behind, just being able to push him away. In this case, keeps him away from the Heavy. Sib doesn't want to challenge it, but with the speed that br1ck's hitting, I wonder if it's going to be in his favor. He's going to get some damage. The missed rail, though, it's not going to matter. Oh, misses the bull rush. And now that's going to be gone for a while. Sib no doubt heard that too. So he's going to have that all-important information. And feels like a pretty uneventful 3 minutes that we've seen so far.
Didn't have rockets on the bull rush either, so he kind of forced the bull rush just for any kind of damage. Yeah, a bit slow-paced for Vale, but 2-2. br1ck is hitting a lot of rails, but he's giving up a lot of items as well, so all useless damage. There's the Mega, there's the Spit. He needs to be careful. Hits the rail, but now he needs to grab a 25 to negate the damage. As he does, takes the lead 3-2, and he's out of rails, so no more free damage from a distance unless he re-ups. Never mind, the rocket says differently. 63 damage on that long-range rocket. Well placed by br1ck.
Yeah, the rail's been putting in a lot of work on br1ck so far. The moment he runs out of ammo, you get a little bit nervous because he has to kind of go down into a pretty unfavorable position, with the exception of maybe if he's got the bull rush activated. But going into rail, there's a reason br1ck's been trying to sort of sit pretty and control heavy over all else. But now the time has come to try and get some more ammo. And there we go, he's nice back up and healthy. Full speed ahead. The fight's going to break out now, point blank. No, the bull rush, that's a fumble and a half. What a punish too. Oh my, 4C. That's some failed execution right there.
I want to know if Sib rocket jumped trying to get up, or if he was like, I'm just going to rocket jump and then drop back down on purpose to rail him. Either way, nets the frag. Well done to Sib. Hits a rail, a little bit of spit, but br1ck hitting these rails, making sure Sib doesn't peek his big scaly face out from behind that ledge again. We'll get the Mega Heavy. We'll go to br1ck. Sib will drop down into his arms, and there's the telefrag through the teleporter. That is unfortunate. Ties it. Well, excuse me, still down by a frag. Takes the lead as Sib now reeling one down, 5:30 in, and he just keeps eating rails. Needs to be careful as the long-range rocket's not landing to his liking. Bull rush is back up for br1ck. And he really needs this 50 shard. I would have liked to see him grab the 250s, or the 225s, but he doesn't need that health. It's fine.
So it would be the one that the least, I think, dictates the pace of this match. Now sitting there with a 1 frag lead, I think the rail kind of has been his miracle weapon so far. Looks to me like br1ck just being nice and defensive if he can. He's been holding this middle room nicely so far. Hard to take the heavy away against a champion that just has that much damage to come out. Looking for rocket damage. Sib almost completely ignoring br1ck at this stage. He wanted the Mega, he wanted it now. A little bit too early though. He's going to concede. Trading out entirely. br1ck just looking for some free damage. Sib, I really think Sib's rails have been failing in this entire map. The moment he's getting an angle, he's just rarely able to take the shot, and it's just allowing br1ck to have this free real estate to run around and kind of just do whatever he wants to, really. Still only 1 frag separates them, and it almost feels like Sib is entirely ignoring br1ck at this stage.
A little bit. He's definitely staying away here. He knows he's down by 1, but he also has a lot of time, so maybe waiting for the perfect opportunity to unleash the damage here, as this isn't going to be it. The defensive spit comes out to at least keep him off his back, and the rockets to follow. The rail is good, but br1ck is still going to chase this. He just needs to find 1. The rocket is going to destroy br1ck. No rockets left. 28 HP. He has to duck away, and even steps in the acid. That could be critical here as he grabs 225s. Sib doing a good job of turning that fight around in his favor.
Use a bull rush just to get the speed boost, make sure he's guaranteed there to get into Mega, but I am fearful about some of these shots. That fight that br1ck took almost cost him dearly and even the odds. However, full control maintained over Mega and Heavy. Now you do wonder if this is going to really matter. Here comes br1ck, point blank, the cooldown in between rail. Sib's going to get deleted, going in for a rail at the wrong time, and even though he hit its mark, it doesn't matter. That cooldown's going to apply anyway, and that health is going to get melted down. br1ck's in the lead now. Just over 2 minutes left, and he's looking to try and get a map on the board here.
Stopwatch.
2 frags up, 210 left. A jumping rail from across br1ck. So good right now with the rail. A little bit of rocket damage. Let's have bull rush back up, and there it is. He's going to look for it. There's the rockets. Doesn't even have to waste it as he pounces on Sib. 6-3. Sorlag didn't even see it coming. Next item is going to be Mega, and there's another. Wow, bull rush and a rocket combo. Can he find the rail angle? Barely missing out on that. Again, advantage is br1ck. Pressure's on Sib. Less than 2 minutes remaining. He's got to hit everything. The tick from the spit is going to be a lot, and the rocket from underneath almost kills him, but the rail swap for br1ck. What a good series there. That would have been a very impressive frag from Sib. Good refrag right there, switching to the machine gun. 7-4. Does have time to try and get back in on this.
Yeah, if Sib's able to find him, which looks like he might be doing actually, looks to me like br1ck hasn't really got anything besides a rocket and rail and caught in a bad situation. Missing most of the shots too. Sib is able to pick up another one. Here comes the Mega, 2 seconds away from spawning. That 1 minute warning is starting to rear its ugly head. Is Sib going to be able to catch br1ck in time? Not entirely sure about it. I think a lot of these pickups are being given again. It's more just trying to undo some of that effort, right? It makes the initial frag much harder to gain if you haven't got the stack to work with. And now he's going to chase it down. Sib's looking for it. He knows he needs it. 2 more to go. Needs a lot more than 1 in this situation. But I feel like br1ck is just giving it a runaround.
Oh, it's going to get caught though in the Thunderdome, and that's going to be a quick frag for Sib. 7-6. Can he catch him off the spawn? 30 seconds left. He's going to grab a Mega. Never mind. Doubles back. Misses with the rail. br1ck's going to get out of there. He does have rockets. He might even be able to steal it. He doesn't. Instead,
rocket.
Direct rocket from Sib there, but he still needs to finish it as he tries to rocket jump up. He's going to get no damage from down below. He's going to rocket jump through, steal the Mega, and now it's just a matter of br1ck staying away. The LG's going to come out. Is it going to melt him in time? The swap to rail isn't going to land. 13 seconds. Still down by 1. 43 HP for Sib, but he has to chase. He doesn't have any choice. Can he find him? As br1ck trying to get away and somehow hits a defensive rail, and that is the nail in the coffin. That'll be 8-6. br1ck steals that one away. Sib was on the brink of taking that one.
I feel like Sib just kind of exploded in the last second, and he so nearly had it. It was just a matter of a couple of missed shots and br1ck's, I think, fortitude at the very end. The moment that rail failed to connect and br1ck went around the corner, you kind of think his fate was sealed.
Yeah.
It's always, scary to make comebacks in that situation because 1 missed shot and that's it, you're done.
That's the ball game right there, and so close, just nipping at the heels. Couldn't do it. Scale perseveres, but barely. That whole ring around the rosy thing they did in the Thunderdome was hilarious, just eating up time. But br1ck does a great job, man. He keeps his cool and stays away and then stands up and hits the rail he needs to take it away.
His use of the ball rush is good too. I know it's quite easy to get caught on terrain using ball rush on a map like this. So, got to give it props for that too. But just like that, the map is done. Going on to our final map, which should be Awoken. It's been a very, very sort of short-paced map series so far. And Awoken to finish the job should be Ranger and Keel. We're going to see some of that Keel. But now it's a 1-to-1 though, 40. I gotta ask you the question. Do you think in a competitive setting though, the Keel pick will work here?
We said 2-to-1. Well, I said 2-to-1. I had faith the whole time.
Oh, I never gave a prediction, did I?
Yeah. You never do. He always gets away with it. Always puts me on the spot.
Allow me to give a prediction that it will in fact be a 2-1 is my first prediction. And the second prediction, I guess we kind of just have to think about. I'm looking at champion picks. I know Keel can work on Awoken because it's a small map, right? Keel on a small map is totally fine. However, I'm going to be a hater and say that I don't think Keel's going to get the job done.
You don't think Keel's going to get the job done, or you don't think br1ck's going to get the job done?
I feel like we don't really see the champion get picked a lot.
That's true.
I think
he gets no love.
Sometimes there's obviously a reason for that, unless maybe br1ck's going to surprise us. I just think I'm looking at Ranger too, and I think
Ranger's super mobile.
Ranger
He's
in the
very
hands of
efficient on Awoken.
any skilled player.
I
with
understand that, but I choose with my heart, okay? And my heart says pineapples. We're going to get into it. Map number 3. Each player splitting a map. This is going to be the decider here. br1ck and Sib. I'm going to round out the series for this one. And we're going to start off on that beautiful Keel right there. Look at that. A little bit of machine gun. Not landing. There's 1 pineapple for good measure as he grabs the tripod.
Now, I've definitely always thought that champions that have this kind of everlasting ability style, like Keel grenades, Galena totems, Athena hook, they almost act as like a constant piece of utility that it just exists as an extra piece of weaponry. That is where I think Keel will thrive, is the fact that he's always got, at any moment, this extra thing that he can pretty much use whenever he wants. It makes a big difference in time limit duels to have that factor, but Sib gets the rail chased down near Mega. Doesn't quite get the rocket boost he's after, but thankfully this is Ranger. He's going to do less damage to himself. Now Keel's problem, he's a big boy. He's got that large hitbox, and can he get it through? br1ck is going to fall again. Sib looking too stacked. Any other champion, that probably would have been a death, but thankfully he can take his own rocket jumps and not really worry about them too much. br1ck's trying to be a bit aggressive, but once more Ranger constantly surviving with barely any HP. Sib has just exploded. at the start of this map.
br1ck trying to do anything he can to get that frag, and Sib just won't die. He's going to drop onto the rocket. There's the dire orb for misdirection. Tries to rocket jump out, but there's no escape as br1ck punishes finally over at the heavy. He's going to make his way over to the mega as well. Down 2 early on, but there's still a long way to go for both players here as br1ck makes his way over to above the heavy. There's a great rail shot trying to defend that rocket. Misses with the follow-up. Eats a little bit of rocket damage on return, and he might go through the telly here. As Sib rocket jumps up to the T-Con, grabs that 50 shard. Ooh, look at that. A little bit of rocket damage, as well as the pineapple. Good rail as well.
The situation with Sib, though, is that, yes, the rail coming out. br1ck kind of understanding I can't really afford to let Sib disengage and then restack back up, especially seeing as the Mega had just been taken. That was a good choice. Sib, though, fresh off the spawn, is able to collect the Mega. And now he's going to have an LG too. You know, spawning near there and going nearby, it's fair to assume what kind of weaponry someone's going to have. I know that Keel's a little bit easier to LG than some champions at the same time. There's a reason br1ck's trying to really pick this far range. He wants to stay as far out of range of LG as physically possible. But Sib is, I can't take my eyes off that stack. It is a very impressive stack at the moment.
Jump over too. The rocket won't land, but the rail will as br1ck takes minimal damage, all things considered, and can get out. And that in and of itself is a victory. As another great rail denies him the entry to the T-Con, and he might even find another one here as he's down by the drive-thru window. There's a great pineapple into rail. And how do you feel about Citrus, Ketchup?
I mean, I'm actually alright. I'm indifferent about that one, you know. But what I did like a lot was that pineapple shot. That was so impressive. And it was what set up, because, you know, similar to the rocket launcher, the grenades can alter your positioning, right? And it can set up for those rail angles. br1ck playing the defensive game, misses the rail, and Sib is going to take him out with the machine gun instead to answer back. And there's only one frag separating the two players so far, but this has been, I mean, it's been similar as an Awoken match, right? There are two champions that get in, do damage, especially someone like Keel. Not surprised to see the crazy back and forth. However, looks like the trap's being sprung, and Sib's going to take the bait, but he does loads of damage. Not enough. br1ck springing the trap. I mean, that was just well played, if anything. The combination of grenades, rockets, and rails together is just out of this world damage sometimes.
Absolutely overwhelming there to tie it at 4. Great job by br1ck to be patient and wait for the exit from the telly area as he's creeping around the corner trying to sniff out where Sib is right now. Getting closer to 4 minutes in. A little bit of rocket spam and LG to make sure he's not there. Heavy's going to be up first. Sib trying to take some rails here. He's going to miss, and that's going to mean he's going to concede the heavy for free, and br1ck's going to get free rotation over to the Mega. As from the T-Con, a little bit of tri-bolt will land, but look at that huge stack on Keel now.
Misses the rail again, but he's looking for some opening damage, especially with that stack advantage. Trying to force him away from this heavy, and I don't blame him. If br1ck's able to maintain at least a stack control, he is going to have that over Rager. He uses teleport. Yeah, he does actually use it to get away, but that does send somewhat of a message that he's willing to concede the heavy. br1ck trying to chase it down. Quite a risk, to be fair. Very easily could go pear-shaped, and actually now he's opting to trade it out instead. Sib, I quite like this choice actually, to trade out heavy for Mega when he knows that Sib's quite weak, because the armor doesn't help you when you're almost dead from health. That was not a bad shout at all. Now br1ck
for that angle.
Yeah, hits one good shot, might be able to undo this, but I think Sib's doing a good job of surviving so far. Gets some more of those health bubbles, and now he's put himself straight back up to a semi-decent regular old stack.
br1ck firing off 2 rails, missing unfortunately for him, not connecting Sib with a fairly decent stack here as we're midway through this duel. Heavy is up. br1ck popping the rockets a little bit too early, wanted to get more damage out of that. Instead ends up with nothing. A good rocket from Mega down to the nail there for 41. Sib taking position over top, eating a rail. That was a fantastic shot by br1ck. Looking for one more. There it is. He just needs one more after that one. Can he follow up again to make it 3? There's a little bit of LG tickle.
Oh, no
rails! And the rocket jump will fail, and there's the LG in the air, and he will fall to his death. Surely, great defensive rail, and br1ck actually can't contest, and that has gotta hurt.
It's been a pretty common issue that br1ck has been having, though, is that he can't quite finish the job. How many times is Sib getting away with pretty much 0 stack? I actually kind of think that br1ck, he should be in the lead by at least 2 frags at the moment, but he's just not quite able to land the final shot. That's a testament to, I think, him missing the final shots when he needs to, and Sib just doing a wonderful job of being able to just wiggle his way out of a bad situation. The rail's going to miss, but plenty more where that came from. Unfortunately, what isn't going to miss is Sib's return rail. br1ck can only tank 2 rails at the moment. not in an amazing position, to be honest. Sideways rail, going in for those pineapples, trying to dish out some of that extra damage. But as long as he has the verticality, it's going to benefit Sib quite a lot. Hits the rail, good stuff. Not before taking a rail himself, and he's still railable. Watch out for the angle. Making a lot of noise. Brick. Unfavorable position now. Sib can really chase this down if he wants. There's the rail. And that's what he was looking for, 40.
Fantastic shot by Sib there. I like how he played very patient. He kind of knew that Brick needed some armor. Oh no, that's my bad. So yeah, Brick. Sib taking 2 frag lead now. Oh, we're straight into more rocket damage, and that's going to hurt Sib, but pulling away with this one at 7 minutes here. Brick needs to try and slow it down. The pineapples won't save you that much. The Mega goes to Sib as he hears him from down below. Gets a little bit of rocket damage. Ooh, make that a lot of rocket damage on that one.
But now in Brick's position, the moment you're playing from behind as one of those larger champions, but Keel hasn't got quite the mobility as some of the other champions that we see get picked of a similar size. How does Brick try and mount this comeback? I can imagine it's quite a difficult task for him so far. Getting hit by a lot of these rail shots and then some. Going in for the grenade to try and just spam a little bit, keep Sib away. But at this stage, does Sib necessarily mind being kept at arm's reach? Because he's the one that has the frag difference, and he's the one that's dictating the pace of this match so far.
Missing with the rail as he's jumping over. There's a pineapple in the face, but it'll miss. The rail, however, will not. As Sib consistently hitting at least 1 or 2 rails on every confrontation. That's keeping Brick extremely low. There's another one traded out, but in favor of Sib as he grabs a 25, and Brick will miss with another one on the edge of death here, but he doesn't have a choice. 2 minutes left, 3 down. He's got to start fighting for these items. He will win out on the Mega. That's going to be huge, but he needs to find Sib and get a frag within the next 30 seconds to have a chance.
Brick's going to find himself very quickly at that point of no return if he doesn't try and do something about it. Getting another rail, but once more the question is, the rail is part of it, but then the rest of it is getting the finishing blow, right? The thing that gives you the frag, the thing that you need. But now he's going for those pineapples. Round the corner just in case, but not hitting their mark. You can notice Sib's pretty far away at this point. And the rails continue to miss. I mean, Sib hasn't had off-the-chain accuracy so far, but it's been better than Brick's. The final map, I think Brick's common trouble has just been an inability to close out the frags that he needs, and it's put him more far back than perhaps he should have been.
I feel like we're kind of seeing that mid-round fatigue that you were talking about, kind of the mid-duel fatigue on Brick. There's minute 10 left, still 3 down. Sib doing a good job of playing keep away. Ooh, that rocket didn't keep away from his chest as he's extremely weak now. But Brick needs to follow it up with a minute left. He still needs 3 frags, and it's proving to be a little bit more difficult than he thought as he goes around the corner, eats a rail. Sib with a nice little play on the orb there just to get away. That rocket will land him the information he needs. The rail will miss, and now he'll rocket jump back to T-Con, just being a pest and staying away from Brick. Again, Ranger with that mobility, the rocket jump to Dire Orb, he should be able to close this out without issue, as he can just play keep away for the last 30 seconds.
And he's got plenty of information to do that as well, 40. Doesn't even matter that his Dire Orb's not in play. This is a small map. Going for the runaway, but once more, the goal's going to be just waste time. Yes, we're taking damage, but fundamentally, we just want to survive as long as possible. The longer it takes him to get a frag, and then maybe try and get a couple more, deny that entirely. And we've definitely reached that point.
Ooh,
game over. Rail. He's chasing it down because he has no other choice, but this map is going to go into the favor of Sib. Well played to Brick, but Sib is going to be the man of the hour, 40. And we'll be seeing him in Luca next week. And hopefully, this is going to give him somewhat of a level of confidence as he faces his relegation matches.
Sib takes it 7-5, 2-1 overall. What can I say? I've been wrong most of my life, and I was wrong again. I wanted to believe, all right? I'm honest about choosing with my heart. I feel like Keel is the best champion in the game. Just your look, just your yeah, right. Favorite, right. As we take a look at some of the highlights, look, it's undiscovered tech. All right, you just wouldn't get it. But again, not anything overly flashy from either player. So just playing a standard game, but it's enough to keep Brick at bay. And again, I can't help but feel like maybe Brick does suffer from that mid-duel fatigue. Kind of starts out hot, and then maybe the other player downloads him. Maybe he just gets in his own head, but he can't close out the frags that he needs to. And that's going to be huge for him. Hopefully he can work on that going into Luca next week.
But I mean, all in all, that was a pretty standard map in general. I wouldn't really say that there was a level of, I think, excelling from either side, to be honest with you. I think, the decisions were there. It was a pretty standard Awoken map, but there wasn't accuracy was to kind of be desired on both sides as well. It was br1ck giving up way too many of those angles, especially with a hitbox the size of his. I kind of questioned the kill pick purely because of just the way results are currently starting to go, and I guess I remain questioning it now. It's ultimately all that both players can really take away from the match that we just saw was, how do we feel as we go into next week's event? Because next week is the week that really matters to them. Just again to remind you, it was a pre-recorded match. We hadn't seen it. Obviously, no one knew what happened. However, because players like br1ck are in Italy as we speak, trying to boot camp and fix that jet lag, they need that practice more than ever.
Yep.
Because who knows? Maybe this is both of their players. Maybe this is their only opportunity in Quake Pro League. You know, because then they'll have to go back into challenges, and then they'll have to re-climb through those ranks, and then once they reach that point, try and relegate players that would have maybe perhaps beaten them already to get into the next phase. You know, so there's a lot to take away from this, actually.
Absolutely.
And this was just another one of those weeks that just gives them information, if anything.
A lot on the line. A lot on the line for those two players. We'll see what they can do. But the next match we got coming up for today for the Americas, my boys. I mean, these are all my boys, but Effortless, Dramas, we got Blood Covenant, Molten Falls, and Corrupted Keep. I think first time today we're going to see Corrupted Keep. Personally, one of my favorite maps. I am looking forward to this one. Effortless and Dramas have played a lot against each other. Do you have a favorite right off the bat?
I'm personally a big fan of how far Dramas has been able to kind of progress himself. I think, you know, I really looked at Dramas and thought that his goal was not necessarily to try and become the best player in the Americas. It was just to try and do well enough that he doesn't have to remotely worry about relegation periods, because fundamentally the Americas, you know, let's not forget at QuakeCon, Americas in general struggled. You know, they really did. And in the progress from a lot of the players that we've seen from QuakeCon to now, that level of play has changed significantly, where I definitely wouldn't count out a lot of the Americas players going into Luca. But that said, you know, their climb is always going to be apparent. But Dramas has had quite a personal journey, and it's been great to see him from the start of it, all the way progressing through where now I think he's damn solid, and could definitely make some magic happen at Luca. But we have plenty of time to talk about that. We're going to go for a quick break and set the matchup between Dramas and Effortless. This is Quake Pro League. This is week number 10, and we will see you in a few minutes' time.